first thing I want to back up and say is that a lot of people don't know I came from homelessness at one point 30-some years ago. I was in poverty for over 10 years. I was a struggling author, struggling speaker, was depressed, suicidal, unhappy, living in a state of desperation. So for me to go from that 30-some years ago to go to, I have a bit of an internet celebrity status. I'm in the movie that's making me pretty well known, The Secret. I've been on Larry King twice. I have more books out there than I can count. The Attractor Factor, for example, has been a bestseller numerous times, being translated into different languages. I have people coming to me wanting to turn my books into movies. So it goes on and on. How did I go from homeless, poverty, to this luxurious lifestyle? And I would say the number one reason would be following my passion. I've always followed my excitement, my enthusiasm. This is much like Joseph Campbell saying, follow your bliss. I have really felt that that is the doorway to success. When you follow your passion, you follow your bliss, you follow your enthusiasm, you follow your heart, you're following what seems to be your destiny. And as you follow it, it seems like the road gets easier. The only time there's bumps on the road is when you have inner beliefs that are still limiting you from enjoying it. And again, that's when I would use tapping to get rid of any of the limiting beliefs about following your passion and living a life of gusto, of joy, of excitement. The really simplified version of having whatever you want in life is to be happy now. Now this is earth-shaking, it's profound, because most of us hinge our happiness on something we want down the road. When we get the car, when we get the house, when we get the money, when we get the job, when we get the relationship, fill in the blank, then we'll be happy. And the great irony, the great joke is, when you get there, you'll want something else. And you're going to go, okay, as soon as I get the next car, the next house, blah, 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 I'll be happy. And what I've found is that the shortcut is to be happy now. And you don't need anything to be happy now. We use happiness as a whip to drive ourselves on. We think we'll be unhappy until we get whatever we want, then we'll be happy. So we're using unhappiness as a motivator. You don't have to do that. I have found that if I use tapping, if I use EFT, I can realize that, oh yeah, I can be happy right now. If I feel some sort of frustration in this moment, some sort of stress in this moment, some anger in this moment, something that's keeping me away from being happy right now, I can begin by saying, even though I'm angry right now, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I'm angry right now or frustrated right now, whatever the word is, that captures the essence of that feeling that's blocking me from being here, now, and happy. I tap it away, and guess what? I have created the shortcut to what I ultimately want in my life, happiness. And it's right here. I think the statement that even though I have this fill-in-the-blank problem, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself while tapping right here is the single most powerful thing you can do, in my opinion, when it comes to tapping. I don't even have to go through all the rest of the points if I just do this one. Because what's happening is here, first of all, I focused on the problem. And I think just knowing what the problem is, admitting it, getting the secret out, getting it out of myself is a very therapeutic thing to do. Actually, it was Freud, I'll have to paraphrase him, who said the way to healing is to have no secrets. No secrets. So by tapping on that problem, that feeling that I have, I'm speaking it. So I'm releasing that secret. Then the other part of this, which is really crucial, is I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. This puts me back at a place of peace. I have often told people, especially when they tell me they have a fear of failure, I've often told people, look, I've tried things that have failed. I've tried things that I was terrified of doing before I went out and done it. And I would always say, if this doesn't work, when I come back to my room at night, can I tell myself I still love myself? And when I can say yes, and I can always say yes, I can forgive myself, I can love myself, I am at a place of peace and power that allows me to do whatever I can imagine. So I find this one statement alone to be one of the most powerful in cleansing and clearing. And a lot of it has to do with just being willing to love yourself no matter what's going on in this moment. When people start feeling the fear of public speaking, or basically the fear of anything, they have a bunch of different tools that they can use, and one of them is self-talk. And what happens is that people are realizing inside their brain that they're talking to themselves about what they want to do. They want to go and give a great performance as a speaker, but they're also hearing this devilish little voice that's saying, what if I choke? What if I don't do well? What if I sweat? What if I faint? What if I pass out? What if I throw up? So you have this little war of dialogue going on inside of your brain. That is not very pleasant. It is not very productive. If I notice that there's this war of thoughts in my head, I can say, even though I have this war of thoughts in my head right now, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Diluting that as well. Because again, when you do this, you end up at this place of clarity, of peace. Then the only thought you have up there is, I think I'm going to do great. I think it's going to be fine. And if something surfaces, because you may have drudged up some quicksand, and if something else comes up from the deep that says, well, what if you're wrong? Well, even though I feel I may be wrong, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. And you dilute the negative self-talk. I have found this to be a great way to take a sword and cut through the negativity in your brain. I tell people that your mind is not just in your brain, that your brain's up in your skull, but your mind is actually throughout your body. And I said that if you actually open up the energy centers that are traveling and letting the energy go through your body, it can help you feel happier. It can help you release stress. It can help you release anger, frustration, whatever you're feeling in the moment. I tell people that just like acupuncture will put needles in different parts of your body to help resolve a headache, a backache. People go through acupuncture and still have operations because those needles are placed in the right place. That psychological acupuncture is when you're tapping on certain parts of your body to help you feel better. What I love is that, if somebody's trying EFT for the very first time, I tell them, use it on everything. And I mean that in the most literal way. Use it on everything. So if you don't know what to do, you're angry in traffic, you can't go to sleep at night, you have the fear of speaking, you notice a belief, I don't care what it is, whatever comes up, you can tap it away. So I tell people, use it on everything. A lot of people have misconceptions about fear. They think if they tap away all their fear, that they're going to walk into traffic, they're going to walk off of a building, they're going to end up living on the beach, that they're going to take away all of their safety mechanism. And that's not true at all. In fact, that's something that could be tapped away. Even though I'm afraid that if I have no fear, I'm going to walk into walls, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. But obviously, those are just fears. Those are beliefs themselves that can be tapped away. My experience has been that when you release all of the fears, you're in this natural state of being. It does not take away your brain power. You still think for yourself. You're not going to walk into traffic. You're not going to walk off of a building. You're going to actually increase your desire to do the things that are good for you, because you're coming from this right place of being within yourself. It's important to understand that as we live in our world, we're always going to have challenges. Dr. Hulen, the therapist that I wrote about in Zero Limits, says we're always going to have problems. This is the nature of the human experience. What you do about them, however, is up to you. EFT is here as a tool for you to use no matter what surfaces, what problem, what challenge. The one that you just tapped on is already gone, but a new belief may surface, so you go ahead and do it on that belief. My point is that as things surface in life that are keeping you from being happy in this moment, at peace in this moment, you do EFT. That will dissolve, but a sister thought, a different root to the thought, a different branch to that thought you just cleaned on may surface. When it does, tap it away. It's as simple as that.